What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here Lake Julian, and we're gonna be looking at Formwork today because I have discovered something in the last week that I think is a reason why I'm having issues getting more powerful distance drives and having extreme accuracy, and all stems from this gap. This gap right here. Can I hit that gap with a backhand or a forehand from the tee pad? Because that black and white sign is 395 feet from the front of the tee pad, meaning that this gap is basically 400 feet away. Let's start throwing some discs. So it comes from the confidence and the noticing what's going on came from one throw, this throw. So what that throw is doing is I have a much smaller aim point, a much smaller landing zone, and I'm trying to hit a very precise point in the air somewhere above these trees or somewhere right next to those trees. And so if I can hit the spot next to these trees, theoretically speaking, the disc is going to flip and get over to the gap. Can I do it? And is all of aiming just about being extremely precise? And how precise do you need to be? Because I can hit the landing zone just fine, but it's a 20 to 40 foot area in the grass. Can I hit a gap that's 10 feet wide, 400 feet off the tee pad? Obviously I can, but what's my consistency going to look like if I try to hit that gap? So we're going to be trying to work on aiming small, missing small, try to get through that gap with this disc and a couple other discs as well. We're going to aim for that gap and then the gap into the trees just past that. So let's see how far we can put some drives. Now when I throw the trail, I get an essence-like flight out of the trail. I throw it on hyzer, it stands up, it turns, it drifts, and then it sits back down. So, and the trail, obviously, it goes so far, and we have a tailwind today, so it's gonna go even further. But the problem I was running into was it goes so far, it would actually pass the Mando sign before it faded. So, how do you get past the Mando sign to the left of the Mando sign? There's this tiny little gap in the trees over here where it almost looks like a little cutout, so there's space there that you don't normally think because you see tall stuff. It's not like, oh, it's just a hyzer. But if you can just barely miss that, if you aim at that stuff and then have a shot that's going to pull itself off of the tree line on Anheuser, kind of exactly what I do all the time, you should be able to drift it into that gap, and then you can have the extra distance. So that's what we're trying to do today. Aim at that spot in the trees, the little cutout spot. First throw of the day. We're gonna loop this hole a couple of times because there are a couple other shots that I want to try, and they're all talking about accuracy and just kind of what's the biggest distance line you can put on the disc. Okay, that's too much hyzer so far. Okay, since I say it flies similar to an Essence, this is an Essence, the one out of my bag. Let's see if we can do a similar shot, but with that amount of hyzer, the Essence might actually stand up. Not quite enough drift. That Essence just made it to the tall grass, which is further than I've ever thrown an Essence before. That's my furthest throw with an Essence ever. That's amazing. So the tailwind's helping, but also just that extreme precision and trying to hit very specific points is definitely helping me lock my shoulder in and get a much more powerful throw. Let's try to do the same shot, but with the millet this time. And that just went through the gap. that just went through the gap. All right, we're gonna try to go with my PD. This is my flippy PD, so it's gonna have to be a little bit flatter on the release. Nope, I pulled that. All the distance, but I pulled it. Oh, I've already hit it once, but that was with a 7-speed. What happens if we disc up to a 12? Going with my flippiest option first, the Vision time lapse. Okay, a little bit less hyzer on that. And then 2 Luxe Vapor Enigmas. This is the pink one. And this is the one out of my bag. This one just seems to agree with me a little bit more than that pink one does. And that's a grip lock. This one's gonna have to be flat, so I cannot grip lock it. This is the Neo Enigma. Nope. Okay, so we got. Now let's go pick those up. I'm gonna dry them off, make sure we have our best chances, because I think there's a possibility we get it with more than just the millet this next time. But also, the more you hone in on your exact, precise release points, I don't know if this is showing on camera, but all of those are going 10 to 50 feet further than I normally throw those discs. They're absolutely amazing throws. Precision. It's so important in disc golf. If you can be precise and exact, you're going to get more power, you're going to get more snap, you're going to be more accurate, and you're going to have more fun. One more round of this, and we will start. I mean, if the first couple of throws go really, really well, might even switch before we make it all the way to the end of this round and do a couple of different style throws. But for this one, we're still gonna try to stick with that. Try to keep it just barely off of that left wall. Let it drift over to the gap. So not quite as much drift as that. Let's go see if we can actually hit the PD on this line. Definitely can throw it that far. And I definitely can be accurate with this. But this PD needs a little bit more of a turnover angle than the hyzer flip to drift angle, because it's not quite that flippy. It's still a little flippy, but it's not quite that flippy. Nope. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Let's try to get the Vision time lapse through there. You know, a little bit less hyzer than last time, because we also have a tail right to left wind, which is helping these discs thrown on a hyzer release not flip up and drift as far to the right. So a little bit flatter than you think should be perfect. Oh, that was a little bit too flat. So let's try the Neo Enigma. Not what we want. All right, the one that worked for us last time, let's do the millet again, because this disc is actually flippy enough. It will turn and drift, even with a tailwind. It's amazing. I love this disc. Okay. That's a crush, but it's not what we want. So we're gonna go pink, Vapor Enigma. Almost hit the poles, which is kind of also a crush. It's two. I have my personal, this is what I throw when I need distance driver, and then I have the trail, and these we're gonna try to push it a little bit. We're not gonna be trying to aim for that normal gap. We're trying to see if we can get into the trees. So try to get to the long grass. We're throwing them here. Try to push way up into those trees and see if we can get our furthest distance drive of all time without throwing off of a 100-foot cliff. That's pretty good, but I think the trail is a little bit straighter still. And I keep throwing the trail on too much hyzer. Okay, well, I'm getting amazingly far. So I think it is working, but I think the more I try to push on this specific T-pad, the more I'm gonna start to miss. So I'm fabulously happy with the way things turned out from the first little drift. Let's go pick them up. I have a couple other discs I want to try some more anhyzer lines with. So let's go pick those up. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have one more shot at this T-pad with maybe a slightly different style of throw. Now you may notice you're a little bit of a different angle than before, because I'm gonna try to go up there. I have this theory that if I throw a big sky anhyzer, should be able to drift it back in here if I have a slightly flippy or neutral disc. I've done it a couple of times with mid-ranges, but I'm interested to see if I get one of these discs up there, will they actually make it to the wood line? Here's to find out. Here's the millet first. Okay, that made it over. Let's see if the essence works out any better. Okay, that was a little low. What else we got that might make it? Let's try the trail on that line. I need a little bit more height. Well, that's a weird trick shot, but it definitely didn't work. Still not enough height. I think I'm putting it on a little bit too much anhyzer to make it all the way over the trees, but I think I need that much anhyzer to keep it from fading out. So we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try with this one. All right, one more shot at this. Okay, well, we got all the way up over the trees. Not really exactly what we wanted to do with that shot. So it turns out probably the millet or the essence is probably being the fastest disc I can try to do that shot with. And I'm a little bit more comfortable with throwing a mid-range as high as I can, because I know I'm not scared of those flipping over. If you enjoy content like this, please make sure to like the video. Make sure you are focusing on your accuracy and your precision, and then you can add your distance from there. And if you focus on your accuracy and your precision, the distance will probably come soon after. So if you enjoy content, like the video. If you want to see new stuff, and if you have any new ideas for Formwork videos, make sure to comment that down below, and please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber only giveaways and definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, see you out on the course.